Man hid terrifying truth at his family farm for years. It's hard to imagine what the end of the world would look like, as it hasn't happened yet. Even so, people still prepare for it. When a secret bunker was found on a farm in the Netherlands, police were floored by how this family of 6 were surviving, waiting for the end of time. But as investigators dug further into the group, they uncovered a tragic story that left the entire community shaken.
Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
When 25-year-old Jan Zoon van Dorsten took a stroll down to his local bar, the Café de Kastelein, in October 2019, he took a seat and promptly ordered 5 beers. The bar patrons may have noticed that something was a bit off with January. Jan managed to take another solo trip to the bar a few days later, this time talking up the bar's owner, Chris Westerbeek. As they talked, Chris began to realize that January had been through some stuff. His hair appeared ratty, his clothes were unkempt, and he just seemed to be overall confused. The more they got to talking, the more pieces of the puzzle Chris put together. Jan needed help, and he needed it ASAP. He said he had run away and needed urgent help, and that he had never been to school. Then we called the police, Chris disclosed to local broadcaster RTV Drenthe. It became a heavier conversation than Chris had anticipated. He said he had brothers and sisters who lived at the farm. He said he was the oldest and wanted to end the way they were living. Police immediately went to investigate John's home, that word being used quite loosely. His home life was a living nightmare. Police inspected a remote farmhouse in Ruinerwold, where Jan and his family lived. The officers found a hidden staircase behind a cupboard in the living room, which unbelievably led to a secret space. We found 6 people living in a small space in the house, which could be locked but wasn't a basement, police stated. This weird secret room housed a 67-year-old man and 5 young adults aged 18 to 25 years old. Were they prisoners? It was a puzzling scene. Throughout the family's lengthy time in seclusion, they lived off the land, as the farm possessed a vegetable garden and a goat. Yes, one singular goat. RTV Drenthe reported that when John's 5 siblings were initially discovered in the bunker, the poor souls thought they were the Earth's last surviving humans. Not only was this bizarre family of sorts found hidden beneath the farmhouse, but a 58-year-old Austrian handyman named Joseph B. was too found on the property, which was camouflaged by hefty, towering vegetation. Reports say that Joseph B. was the one paying the farmhouse's rent, the landlords, Klaus Roos, and Alida Tennoever, having not one clue that there was also a family residing in the underbelly of the farmhouse. Joseph B. was promptly arrested for refusing to cooperate with the investigation. We knew absolutely nothing of this. We rented the house for years to one man, and now we learned someone was living there with children. We have no idea who it can be, Alida explained. Not only were the landlords shocked, but so was the local mayor. I've never seen anything like it, Mayor Roger de Groot said. He continued by revealing that many of the family members hadn't even been locally registered. Since police found no records that proved the siblings were residents of the district, as January had warned the police, it's believed that they may have been relocated to the farmhouse bunker and held captive. Let's not try and imagine where they were initially held hostage. So, where does the mother fall into this disconcerting tale? Well, Roger de Groot also disclosed in a press conference that the mother of the family passed away before they moved into the farmhouse bunker. This disquieting story holds a lot of unknowns, including who the keeper of January's mysterious social media accounts is. Jan has had a blooming social media presence since June, posting on both Instagram and LinkedIn, which is obviously odd. However, no one knows if January was actually operating the accounts himself. Reports said the family was living in isolation, waiting for the end of time. But recent social media posts made by January further indicate that the siblings simply may have been held hostage. While it may have been a living nightmare, it's not clear if the young adult siblings were confined to the small space round the clock. Joseph B. allegedly owned a carpentry business, which saw captive Jan as an employee for months. But that's not to say he definitely had contact with the outside world. Similarly, Ruinerwold resident Jeffrey Skeeper had contact with January a week and a half prior to his climactic visit to the Café de Castelaine. Jeffrey claimed that January had asked him for a job and new clothes. We tried to ask questions, among other things, because he said he had not been outside for 9 years. Is it a belief? A cult? He said yes, nothing more. Jeffrey said of his conversation with January and Chris Westerbeek at the bar. Some struggled to call Jan a victim, given his multiple opportunities to search for help. Well, it's a more common phenomenon than you'd think. We know you've heard of Stockholm Syndrome. But without all the details, it's hard to say. Then, on October 17th, a Dutch judge ordered Joseph B. to detention for 14 days due to suspicion of illegal deprivation of liberty and money laundering. In the meantime, the investigation continued. Dutch police soon arrested another suspect in this roller coaster of a story, the 67-year-old man who was thought to be the father of the siblings, Gerrit Jan van Dorsten. His involvement at first baffled police. Well, according to police, he is suspected of being a co-perpetrator of unlawful deprivation of liberty and of abuse, in the sense of prejudicing the health of others and money laundering. And as it turns out, Gerrit may have known Joseph B. for quite a while. Once Joseph B.'s arrest became public news, his brother Franz suggested that Joseph B. is a frighteningly persuasive man with greedy, calculating, and unpredictable qualities. Oh yeah, Franz also mentioned that Joseph B. may have ties to a cult. Franz, who hasn't seen his brother in 10 years, suspected that Joseph B. met Gerrit in the 90s through an Austrian cult subsequent to his military days. RTV Drenthe further reported that the whole family, including Joseph B., belonged to the Unification Church, its members being nicknamed the Moonies. The Unification Church, which is now known as the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification, was deeply alarmed to hear of the family being held in inhumane conditions on a farmhouse in the Netherlands, according to a statement emailed to Rolling Stone. The institution's statement divulged that Gerrit is known to have suffered from mental health issues and left our organization in 1987. The church, which is known for its mass marriage ceremonies, insists that it champions 3 ideals: family, peace, and unification. The situation discovered requires a careful approach, which is to include the provision of attention to and care of the young adults discovered. Various experts have been engaged. Accommodation has been provided for the 6 persons involved in a safe place, police relayed. Though the young adult siblings are thankfully safe and sound now, it doesn't relieve the trauma of their decade of forced isolation. Sadly, captive situations often stay under the radar for far too long, and the victims are left to pick up the pieces of their lives. Sometimes they don't even know they're victims at first. Please feel free to share with your friends.